Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we present our Capstone social marketing campaign titled Trust the Bust. My name is Danielle Stern, and throughout this presentation, you will be hearing from myself along with Andrea Goodman and Lila Lewenstein. We are so excited to be here today to discuss an important topic that the three of us are very passionate about. As I'm sure many of you know, breastfeeding is a highly controversial topic within the United States. There have been numerous opinions and controversies swirling around the topic of breastfeeding. Will it change the look of the mother's breasts? How will it affect her baby? Is it really more nutritious than formula? Will the mother's workplace be accepting of her breastfeeding in the office? Despite all the controversy, there is now tons of hard evidence behind the topic. The American Academy of Pediatrics conducted numerous studies concluding that American women expecting to or who have recently given birth are recommended to breastfeed their baby given the positive impacts on both mother and child. The overall problem, though, mothers are still unaware of these positive impacts and just how much it could benefit the health of her and her baby. When it comes to how breastfeeding impacts the baby, the benefits are endless. Breast milk is considered the perfect food for a baby as it provides an abundance of essential nutrients. Its nutritional makeup consists of micro and macronutrients that all contribute to the proper growth and development of a child. In addition, breast milk contains antibodies, hormones, living cells, and enzymes that are passed down from the mother to help fight illnesses. The WIC organization is one of the many groups providing education on how beneficial breastfeeding is for a baby. The physical relationship of the baby against the mother's chest provides a feeling of warmth and security as if they were still in the womb. Many mothers believe the bonding experience that comes from breastfeeding is like nothing they could have ever imagined and contributes immensely to the emotional development of a child. Lastly, breastfeeding has been shown to reduce many illnesses that formula feeding cannot protect against. While breastfeeding is such an amazing gift for the baby, there are numerous benefits extended to the mother as well. Breastfeeding contributes to certain hormones such as oxytocin being released, a quickened recovery time after birth, and reduced risk of chronic disease. The practicality to breastfeeding you also can't beat. It's free, it's convenient, and it's good for the environment. It is so imperative that mothers know the facts behind breastfeeding before deciding how to best nourish her child. I do want to note some women would like to breastfeed but are unable to for various reasons. As marketers, we of course want our audience to be educated on the topic, but our main goal here is aimed at changing a behavior. Our campaign is geared towards changing the behavior of women to start breastfeeding based on the numerous nutritional benefits it provides. Before being able to make any type of behavior change, it was important for us to hone in on our target audience in order to create a successful campaign. With that being said, our target audience is American women aged 28 to 40. Because this audience is still somewhat broad, we wanted to segment the market even further. We divided the market into two segments, expecting mothers and new mothers, as they will each have unique attitudes and beliefs towards the topic. Once we were concrete on our target audience, we looked to the health belief model for some framework. In this campaign, the variables would be if the woman believes not breastfeeding could pose a health issue for her. The perceived susceptibility would be if the woman was actually pregnant, what would the severity or potential consequences be of not breastfeeding? The perceived benefits would be the positive outcomes a woman expects would happen if she began breastfeeding her baby. And the perceived barriers would be the negative aspects that came with breastfeeding, such as having to take time away from her workplace to pump. Cues to action would be if the marketing materials we presented promoted the behavior change, And lastly, self-efficacy would be if the woman felt confident enough to continue breastfeeding on her own.
As a way to conduct our own research with our own target audience, we created a 6-question survey through a website called SurveyMonkey. The survey was conducted to determine our target audience's comfortability with breastfeeding, as well as information about their previous knowledge regarding the benefits of breastfeeding. The questions we asked the participants include the following. 1. How comfortable would you be with breastfeeding? 2. How comfortable would you be with breastfeeding in public? 3. How comfortable would you be with someone else breastfeeding in public? 4. What would make you more comfortable with breastfeeding if you're not already comfortable? 5. Have you been educated on the nutrients that breastfeeding provides? 6. Where have you gotten information on the benefits of breastfeeding, i.e., social media, TV, radio, etc.? So we had 6 women between the ages of 28 and 40 fill out the survey. 100% of participants said that they would be very comfortable with breastfeeding. However, when we asked about breastfeeding in public, only 1/3 of the participants said they would be very comfortable, while half of the participants said that they would be somewhat comfortable, and 1 participant said that they would not be very comfortable with the idea of breastfeeding in public. For question 3 of the survey, all participants said that they would be very or somewhat comfortable with other women breastfeeding in public. When we asked what would make the participants more comfortable with the idea of breastfeeding in public, we got a variety of answers, including having designated rooms or areas to breastfeed in public, and if breastfeeding was more socially acceptable in our society. So only 2 out of the 6 participants said that they had been educated on the benefits of breastfeeding. 3 participants said that they had been somewhat educated, and 1 participant said that they had not been educated at all about the benefits of breastfeeding. Participants reported to have gotten information about breastfeeding from a number of sources. These sources include books, documentaries, articles, social media, word of mouth, magazines, lactation consultants, doctors, the internet, and local clinics. The source of information that had been mentioned the most is some form of the internet. Using an effective social media page allows for women to easily find relevant information about breastfeeding. Pinterest is a well-used and extremely popular social media platform. We think the creation of a breastfeeding board on Pinterest would be the most successful way via social media to give mothers more support and information on breastfeeding. Our Pinterest page has numerous links to outside resources providing tips, education, and overall help on breastfeeding. A few examples of the specific topics covered on our board are how to breastfeed the first year as a working mom, the benefits of breastfeeding, pumping basics, breastfeeding positions, how to get your baby to latch properly, and much more. It is important in social marketing campaigns to have relevant methods of delivery for the promotion of the wanted health behavior change, and in our campaign, Pinterest does just that. Communication is an essential part to any effective social marketing campaign. Our communication plan for breastfeeding promotion to expectant mothers is through the distribution of an informative pamphlet. The pamphlet provides educational materials on the benefits of breastfeeding for mothers and their baby. It is best to target and inform women before the child is born to begin the pull of the idea of breastfeeding. Therefore, these pamphlets will be placed in obstetric offices, hospitals, and women's health clinics. We wanted to have the pamphlets available for women in a practical setting. A pamphlet is a simple but effective method for mothers to grab on the go, to take home, or read it out and about. Mothers are often busy and need information to be straightforward and easily accessible, so we believe a pamphlet would be the best method. The type of evaluation plan used would be outcome evaluation. This would measure the overall change in the mother's behavior. More specifically, the mother's desire to choose breastfeeding or not after reading our informative pamphlet and reviewing the additional resources. The way we would evaluate this would be to distribute 50 pamphlets to a specific obstetrics office and have them given to 50 different women who are currently pregnant and regularly seen at that office. After their first appointment pertaining to and covering the topic of breastfeeding, during the office checkout, the pamphlet would be given to the mother along with a brief survey. The survey would have different questions, focusing more so on how the mother currently feels about breastfeeding, what they want to learn more about, if they feel confident about breastfeeding, and how likely are they to breastfeed their new baby. At the 6-week postpartum checkup, these same 50 mothers would take a follow-up survey. The questions would be similar, if not identical, to the first one, making the behavior change easier to measure. The results from our survey are what we would use to determine an overall health behavior change from the targeted group of mothers. The number of mothers who actually ended up breastfeeding are the positive results from this qualitative survey. If a significant number of pamphlets influence the amount of mothers who chose to breastfeed their infant, we would feel confident placing these types of pamphlets in offices or clinics continuously to promote breastfeeding.